Hello, chit-chatting tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Ogre Battle with me, BlueAnkylo. So, we are going to do the next battle today, but for the beginning of this video, I'm going to go over some of the name additions and some gameplay mechanics for this game, because there's some pretty complicated stuff, and I want to get some of this out of the way early on. I'm not going to do everything, obviously, but I want to cover some of this so the new viewers can kind of catch up with how the game works. If you're a pro, maybe this will be redundant and maybe you want to skip forward a few minutes. That's your choice. So anyway, first off, if we look at our edit unit screen, you'll notice I've rearranged all of the units from what they would have looked like at the end of last video. I've actually I guess this is something I should start with. I've actually restarted the campaign and used a mod, a unit rebalancing mod that should change, like, so for instance, I'm still the Lord with the good, the lawful good sort of picks at the beginning. Instead of Ice Cloud, and I don't think I had Banish up front either. Now I have, Ice Cloud was an area of effect ice attack. Missile is an area of effect, like a group attack, Holy Elemental, which is different. So that's the first thing I noticed from changing the mod in. It's also changed, I think Octopi used to have 2 attacks from the back row, front and back row. I'm going to cover this stuff in just a second, but the mod itself sort of rebalances some of the units. I think the idea is to make some of the weaker units more effective and more usable in combat. It actually makes some of the bosses much more difficult from what I looked at as well, giving certain enemy units bonus attacks and stuff. And, I mean, keeping in mind that my octopus are stronger, but so will the enemy octopus we fight. So the rebalancing affects both parties, our team and the enemy teams. And I'm not sure all the details, but some things, you may notice, basically my point is, you may notice some differences between a vanilla ogre battle and the modded one. I'll try to remember to leave a link in the descriptions if you're interested in the rebalance mod. One of the things then, because I restarted, before we look at the individual units, I probably have... I can't actually look at my... I have different tarot cards anyway, because I had to repick it, and you get random options when you start off. And similarly, like my main unit, I probably drew different cards from those battles, or from those liberations on towns. So our stats will be a little different than last time if you're really into just +1 alignment or -2 strength or whatever we got. It doesn't really make much difference in the long run. And I think I picked up a worse random item. Bjork and Tierra. I think there was 2 items you could get on the first map. I'm pretty sure we got a cool axe or sword or something the first time we did it. And this time I got kind of a lousy necklace and a helmet that probably aren't going to help us much. Actually, one of those was from Roshfallen Temple. They gave it to me as a reward. I remember that now. So anyway, first things first, I've renamed some units. So, in my party, Greg wanted to be a healer. And I had 3 people that I didn't really have a place for as a team leader, so for now they're just my front row on my unit. So Aldrich, Hawkman, and Eric get to be with me for now. I might move this around later on. A lot of the times, as the game progresses and people get promoted and you recruit new units, I'll be rearranging the teams anyway. But right now, to lead a team, you have to be a non-base class. You can't be a fighter or an Amazon. The little circles means samurais can be leaders, Valkyries can be leaders, clerics, beastmen, wizards. That's pretty much all I've got right now that can lead. Knights, I suppose. So, as my base units start promoting up, I can change the units around a lot more freely. That's just the way the game works. So anyway, like I said, these 4... I think Greg wanted to stay with me, but these 3 I'll probably give their own units eventually. This is going to be Kid's unit. He's a samurai. Samurais are very similar to knights. They're both kind of the fighter promotion for front row melee, and they tend to have high alignment and charisma. We'll talk about that in a minute. if you see F and B, that's just the attacks they will do in the front row versus the back row. Front is on the left, back is on the right. So these Amazons will get 2 arrow attacks from the back row, but they'd only get 1 in the front, and vice versa. The fighters get 2 slices in the front row and 1 from the back. There's also some logic around which units these people can attack. Like, you can't just shoot anyone in the enemy party with these arrows or with these slices. Depending on their position in this, on these units, like top right or top left here, can't attack an enemy unit on the bottom right. It just doesn't work like that unless there's no, well, I'll explain it more when we're in battle, but suffice to say, unit positioning does count as well. Unless you're using like magic or something. So Scarlet, another one of our named characters here, in the back row, this is a promoted Amazon. They get the bolt attack, which is magic, so it uses their intelligence stat, and it can target basically anyone on the enemy party, which is kind of cool. So Amazons Valkyries are your standard Amazon promotion, like Knights and maybe Samurais are your standard fighter promotions. There's lots of other ones that we don't even have yet. This is Dino. He wanted to be a puppy, really, but I wanted to make sure the unit had his name, so I gave him a Beastman. Supposedly, I can't remember if this even works, but supposedly Beastmen or Wildman have some effect on beasts. Like, there's kind of a unit compatibility stat, and it's weird. Every unit has a compatibility score between 0 and 100, and if they're all similar, they perform better in battle, and if there's one at 0 and one at 100, they perform poorly. I think it's like around 0 are the evil units, around 50 are the good units, and then around 100 are special, weird units. So sometimes compatibility is complicated. I don't worry about it very often, so don't worry about that. Also, you can notice, unlike these guys who move, their movement is planes. These guys, their movement is mountains. So basically, the Hellhounds will fight better in mountains. They'll do more damage, have more defense. They will move faster on the map through mountains than other units. And the Wildman is plains, so he's primarily, well, he's kind of gets I think a small debuff in the mountains. But these guys get 3 attacks each in the front row, so they're pretty powerful. Then we have the Octopi unit. So we've got a healer in the back. Because if you're out in the ocean, you know, swimming around in the water, there's generally not a lot of towns for healing, and we don't have healing items just yet, really. So we're going to have Scott, another one of our named characters, try to keep my octopi healed up while they smack things around 4 times each. And if they're in the water, they will do a ton of damage. They will be very, very slow and fairly ineffective on land or mountains and stuff like that. But they're really, really handy on water, maps with lots of water, oceans, lakes, rivers, and stuff like that. I did have a request. There's one person who's signed up for their name who's not in yet, who wanted to be a mermaid, and that's just because I can't recruit mermaids yet. Once we have a mermaid, I'll rename that character and give them a unit. We have Geist. My plan for Geist is to actually turn them into a witch that can stun enemies like Geists can. But for now, I gave them some griffins that will fly. This means high sky. They can move anywhere on the map at top speed. And there's actually a formula, sort of. Well, there's a algorithms for the unit's overall movement type. Like, the total movement for this unit is high sky because there's griffins, and griffins are larger units than clerics. So the idea is griffins can carry around human-sized units, and the whole team will move at high sky speed. Similarly, the octopi are carrying the cleric, and theoretically the hellhounds are carrying around the wild man. Some units that can fly, like I think sprites and angels can fly, but they're also not strong enough to carry other units. So a sprite might not be able to carry a knight or a healer or anything. I don't think they can, actually. So, although you'd have some units with low sky or high sky movement type, because someone else was heavier, your overall unit speed would be the lowest speed on that, the plane movement or mountain movement. I think actually an example right here. Scarlet has forest-style movement, but she can't carry everyone around, so we still overall get planes. In fact, even the Amazons have forest movement, but they can't carry these 2 fighters, so we get an overall planes. There, that's a good example. Alright, let's continue. There's only a few more units. Let's go through them. We've got Thunder, who's got Warren at his side and a no-name wizard. Normally, I would have Warren be the leader of this unit because he's like a hero. You can see his stats are considerably better. Plus 20 int for 2 levels. He's not going to get that much intelligence in 2 level ups. So Warren is very strong, but I want to see this Thunder because it's one of my named viewers. You know, that's cool. This unit will probably turn evil. My plan here, to promote wizards to mages, they have to have, I believe, between 10 and 40 on alignment. So they need to, I'm going to explain how alignment and charisma work in a little bit, but they need to level up a little bit higher than the other units. So I want these guys to get level 5 and 6 earlier than some of the other units that I want to keep at a low level so their alignment goes up. This is a weird unit. This is vanilla. And I gave him 1 Hellhound and kind of a weird mix. I'm just going to see how this works. The Wild Man get 2 attacks, front row or back row. So it's a very melee heavy unit. I could move the Hellhound into the back row for a ranged fire attack, but for now he's kind of tanking damage. I'm worried that this unit has no healing, so it might not be that powerful. But there's a vanilla unit. This is more like my default unit. You get 1 healer at low level, a couple Amazons to flank, and a couple fighters up front. As they promote, traditionally this would be 2 knights and eventually paladins, and 2 Valkyries and eventually Muses in the back as the healer heals up. That's like your default very strong unit in my opinion. They've got healing so they can last, and they've got a pretty good DPS once these guys get promoted. But I only made 1 of those standard units just because. And yeah, the guy named Healing wanted to be healing, so there you go. And the last unit we have is Scion, who is piggybacking Lands, who's normally a team leader. And then just some generic Amazons. This is another just sort of generic unit for me. It's nice to have a lot of options. You can see how expensive, like this one, this is a cheap unit to deploy, 820 Goth. The Griffin is very cheap for now. As they level up, they'll get more expensive. But you don't want to have a lot of really expensive 2,000 units early on, because you won't make enough money for that. Anyway, hopefully that covers like my unit description. I'll do a very brief stats here. So, strength is your attack power and defense power. Agility is hit and miss chances, and I think your turn order as well, actually. Intellect will be magic damage or healing ability. There's also a hidden resistance stat for all the elements, fire, ice, lightning, light, and dark. But you can't see that. There is a hidden resistance stat for all those numbers, and it's based on what class you are, rather than your level. As your level goes up, strength, agility, and intellect will all go up. I can't remember what luck does. It probably doesn't matter much. Charisma is mostly important for promotions. Now, I haven't talked about promotions a whole lot. Change class. So, for instance, I'm just going to save it here to demonstrate. Right now, these guys are not... Oh, shoot. I did it. Just a sec. Just a sec. Sorry, guys. My save state button right now, I need to fix this. I'll fix this later for next episode. Right now, very unprofessional, my save state button changes my scene in OBS, so I shouldn't use save states. My point is, right now, fighters at level 2 are too low of a level to have any promotions possible. Once they have level 4, 5, or 6 or higher, they can unlock other promotion abilities. You can always down promote. So a base class for a cleric is an Amazon, which I will revert here for Greg just to demonstrate. Now, because Greg's only a level 2 Amazon right now, we actually can't return him to cleric, which is why I saved it specifically. Just a second. There we go. So I just can't use my F keys. So you need to be the correct level, and you need the correct charisma. Most human classes need some amount of charisma to promote to their next class. At least 50, sometimes 60 or 70. I don't have the numbers on hand. And the way you get charisma is by killing enemy units that are higher level than yours. So a level 2 fighter, if we kill a level 3 or 4 fighter or whatever, his charisma should go up. your charisma will go down if you kill units that are lower level than you by... there's kind of a range, like maybe killing the same level of you goes up a little bit, but once you're over leveled more than a couple levels, like if I was level 5 fighting level 1s, I would definitely lose charisma. That's kind of the way that works. For the most part, charisma isn't too hard to manage, though, for the most part. Alignment is much more tricky and complicated, and I only want to give you guys a brief explanation of it, but the same rules for charisma. Killing lower leveled units, if you're overpowered, slaughtering low level units, you will lose alignment, and if you're killing challenging units that are higher level than you, you will gain alignment to start. Also, the class in question counts. If you are killing enemy healers, you will lose alignment. If you are killing enemy devils, you will gain alignment, or ghosts. Basically, the enemy class's default alignment, if it's high and you kill them, you're going to lose alignment for killing a good guy. If their alignment is low, you're going to gain alignment for killing a bad guy, because that's kind of how it works. There's a couple other bits I'm not going to get into for alignment, but level and enemy unit type is the most important. Your current level of alignment also affects the change. So if your alignment is 50 and you kill someone 3 levels above you that's a demon or something, you will gain alignment. But if your alignment was 0, like all the way bad, and you kill an enemy devil that was 3 levels ahead of you, same situation, you would gain less alignment because you're already very evil. So it's kind of complicated, and it's tricky because a lot of units, like I was saying earlier on with the mages, to go from wizard to mage, you need to have between 10 and 40 alignment. So they actually need to lose alignment, but they can't lose it all. And once you're down to 20 alignment, it's really easy to lose alignment and very hard to gain it. So if you accidentally got your wizard down to, say, 0 or 5 alignment, getting it back up over 10 could be very difficult. So you have to really watch that if you want to get the best out of your promotions. Because I'm planning on playing a good run, I will probably have quite a few high alignment units. Like, I'll probably keep the samurai unit high alignment with Valkyries, Knights, Paladins, Samurais, stuff like that are all high alignment. I'll try to keep 1 or 2 with low units, so I'll try to turn these fighters into, what are they called? There's evil men of some sort. There's ninjas that are kind of evil, and there's dark ones or something. So there are evil front rows. Wizards and mages tend to be your evil back row. Most of the female classes are neutral to good. There's a lot of neutral-ish large units. And if we get dragons, there's good, evil, and neutral for that. And there's lots of variety anyway. My goal for this Let's Play is to use a good variety of units. I don't want to just stick with Paladins and Valkyries for the entire game, which is perhaps the best default setup. Okay, that's all for that. I think I'm actually... Well, I was going to do this next battle, but that took a long time, and I'm still not really done explaining things. I want to also demonstrate that you can go back to a map that you've already cleared. Now, while we're here, there's a couple things I can explain. So, first off, when we start a normal battle, I guess it'll be next episode, normally you'll have to deploy units. It costs you money to deploy them, and then they upkeep every round as well. So our current income projection, just to upkeep our basic unit, the one we start with, my unit, it's 620 per day. Now, normally when you're doing a map for the first time, you'll get tributes from all the towns you liberate, and that will pay your upkeep, and you'll make money off of that every day a little bit. If you let your If you let too many days go by, your reputation meter will go down because you're taking too long and the game thinks you're wasting time. So you need to beat maps quickly so that you don't lose reputation unless you're going for an evil playthrough. But you still need to make money. So a lot of the times I'll let a couple days go through at the end just to stack up a bit of cash, but before the reputation meter starts going down. That's kind of one thing we'll see later on, just to make sure I've got enough money for what I want to do. While I'm here, I'm going to go over this other spot. I missed this on camera, so I didn't want to pick it up off camera. There should be another item over here in the corner. So we'll go pick this up quick. I was hoping I get another random thing while I'm out here. You'll know it when you see it. Give me something good. You found an angel necklace. Now, I'm going to assume that that would give us protection from white element or holy element. It might also change the unit who equips its attack if it's melee to holy element. I'm not 100% sure. Usually you need a weapon that's holy to do that. While we're here, I also want to stop by Warren's castle, because you can go back to these places and revisit towns and castles. Sometimes they will, well, this is just tutorial stuff, so don't worry about it too much. But sometimes they'll give you quests and information, secrets, just background information, stuff like that. So it's probably a good idea, especially if it's your first time playing it, after you clear a map, to go back and revisit a lot of the towns. Like this. Just press the X button to leave. And we can do that whenever we want. I would like to do one more little thing before that happens, though. So I could go visit all the towns. I could... I want you to go through the mountains. Because a plane-style movement moves very slowly through mountains, they tend to path around it and follow the roads. But what I'd like to do is find a neutral encounter while I'm on this map. I'm just trying to do some tutorial stuff today. I thought I'd have time to get to the real mission, but you know, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and I still want to show a couple more things off. So I talked about reputation. There's one more thing about reputation I should cover. When you're liberating a town, you can look at the town stats. The heart symbol is their... Well, I forget what they all stand for. The bottom one is how much money per turn. The top one is population. The middle ones, I don't remember. Loyalty and morale or something. You actually want to use units with similar alignment and class type. There's two things. It's unit alignment as well as unit class type that affect your morale meter when you liberate a city. If you are closely matched, i.e. a high morale city is liberated by high alignment units, say some clerics and stuff, and the clerics also being the right kind of class type, you will gain a lot of morale or reputation, which moves the bar higher. Come on, just... I'm getting unlucky here. I don't know how long this is going to take to just find a random encounter. So if you want it to go up, you need to be a little bit careful about how long you spend on a map and who's liberating cities. If you want it to go down, then you send evil units like all mages or undead once we have undead, and the morale bar will go, or the reputation bar will go down way fast. I don't know how long this is going to take. I just want to show off a random encounter here. I'm going to turn it to... Well, there might... See, every map has 3 possible random units. I'm going to put on a little bit of frame skip here because I'm getting unlucky. Maybe I can just find one in the ocean. Actually... Alright, we're going to do one more thing here. I am going to deploy somebody. We're going to deploy... Oh, shoot. Who's the one with the... I think it was Geist. Yeah, the one with the birds. The reason I'm doing this is I can move them over the mountains quicker and easier than my main unit. We're gonna use a little bit of frame skip. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. But yeah, every map has 3 possible neutral encounters, and they require specific ground type to hit them. Generally plains, mountains, and some sort of water unit. You could put a whole bunch of units on the map to try to run into random encounters. Maybe there aren't any in the mountains, or maybe there aren't any on this first map. I'm pretty sure there is someone, though. Something. But, I mean, I'm not getting lucky here. Could be forests or something, but there's not a lot of forests on this map. Well, I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna try this until we get to the next day, and then I'll basically call it. This is what I get for trying to show something that's random on camera. Trust me when I say there are neutral encounters where you fight a single unit, a single monster, and you actually need to convince them to join you rather than killing them. You can kill them for experience, but generally what you're trying to do is recruit them to your force. And that's how you get a lot of golems and dragons and stuff that you can't necessarily recruit on your own. Oh, speaking of that, I forgot. That was the last thing I was going to show today. So head back. Yeah. Losing money, losing reputation. So when a unit with a team, well, any team leader, when they're in a city, not a temple, you can generally recruit new characters. This is kind of the primary way of getting new units. So it's based on the leader's class. So a cleric can apparently recruit only Amazons, and they will also recruit at 2 levels lower than your cleric. So, well, or 1 being the minimum. So I could recruit an unlimited, well, it cost me money, but I could recruit as many level 1 clerics as I wanted with this unit. Depending on who you have, you can deploy them. I mean, I'm actually probably going to reload my state because I wasted a bunch of money and stuff. But you can see, depending on who you deploy, that's another cleric. Yeah, we'll see what a mage can deploy. Okay. I'm sorry the neutral encounters didn't work out. That's a pain. If you return them to base, they disappear from the map for this battle. You can bring them back. Alright, so here we go. We can actually get giants from wizards. We don't have any giants right now, so I could technically make like a new party if I wanted to recruit a couple of these guys. Right, I'd have to edit the unit so there was room for it, and then I could move. It's kind of a pain, really, but I wish you could do this from the edit menu, the main menu screen. But unfortunately, as far as I remember, you can't recruit from here. You should be able to recruit from here. It's dumb. Yeah, you should be able to go to, you know, Scarlet, say I want to recruit some more Amazons. You should be able to go to your mages and say I want to recruit some giants and some hellhounds and stuff like that. So I can't remember all of the ways you get units, but you can either, well, there will be, just like how lands join, sometimes we'll get a unit like that. Other times you can get neutral encounters where you can recruit new units, and other times you can use one of your leaders to go fill up their party with other units as well. I will deal with that more in the future. I'm sorry this episode didn't really get anywhere. I'll just label this a tutorial episode and sort of an interlude. Next time, though, we can start right away with the Sharam Castle. So anyway, hopefully you guys are caught up on how this game works. If you were watching and you'd still like to have a name and your name's not on the roster yet, I'll be accepting more applicants, so I'll try to leave the spreadsheet below, the link to the spreadsheet below. Make sure you leave a comment telling me you've added your name to that list if you find the name on that list you'd like. That way I'll know to go look through the spreadsheet and add you. So that's it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully everyone's caught up, and I'll see you next episode for our first real battle, finally. See you later, guys.